All right, and now we have the marketplace panel coming up, and here we go.
Hey guys, Suzanne, brand manager for Roll20 here. Welcome to the marketplace panel during Roll20CON. Hope you guys are having a fantastic time so far. I am joined here by some of our favorite, most super awesome marketplace creators. You will recognize some of their names. You will have seen some of their stuff on the marketplace. So guys, go ahead and introduce yourselves. Let's start with Kristen.
Hi, I'm Kristen Carlson. I initially got involved with Roll20 as a forum moderator back in the open beta of the platform back in 2012. Over time, I designed the die models used for the platform's 3D dice, created a suite of video tutorials in the Roll20 Help YouTube channel, created 2 spell template art packages for the Roll20 marketplace, and was contracted out to port over several modules to the marketplace, including Wright Publishing's Adventure Quarterly 5 and Monty Cook's The Strange and The Strange to the Dark Spiral.
Oh, cool.
Gabriel, tell us about yourself.
Well, I've been a marketplace creator for a little under 2 years. I'm originally a chef, but apparently that wasn't fun enough, so I went and did something even geekier.
Cool. Also, I forgot, we didn't do our super cool pose. Everybody, 1, 2, 3. Hey, it's Roll20CON! We're so we're all nerdy. It's a convention. And moving on. Fernando, tell us who you are.
Hi, I'm Fernando Dominguez, and there goes my sword.
It happens to all of us.
It's early in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm a concept artist and illustrator, and I've been doing tokens for about 3 years, since I think February 2013, just on Roll20. And I kind of do it part-time. And yeah, I think that's all there is to it. I gotta go get my sword.
Okay. Russ, tell us everything about yourself.
Well, I've been part of the marketplace for a little over a couple of years. Obviously, I create the old world style and scene edition sets. Having a lot of fun with that. It's really not. I'm a Leo. No, I don't really have much else to go with there.
That's a good start.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Brass Badger, tell us who you are.
Hi, my name's Jamie. I'm usually go as Brass Badger on the marketplace. I've been an artist, game developer, and illustrator for about 15 years now. And I pretty much do a mix of tokens, maps, modern, and fantasy stuff on the marketplace. Yeah.
Awesome. And last but certainly not least, Devin, tell us all about yourself.
Hi, I'm Devin Knight. I have been making tokens for about 12 years. I'm not sure about this, but I may have been one of the first people that Roll20 approached for marketplace material. Probably because I had a ton load of free stuff available, and they wanted to make sure when they started, everybody had stuff. So I have that, and I just released my 81st pack on the marketplace. So I think one pack. Also a Leo, so there you go.
It's all a big astrology conspiracy. Awesome. So, and before we go on, we should mention that if you donate to Cybersmile during Roll20CON, you will receive a free complimentary marketplace pack. It is called the Roll20CON exclusive art pack. And that includes artwork from all of these marketplace creators, from Russ, Gabriel, Brass Badger, Fernando, Devin Knight, and also Greg Taylor, who was kind enough to create a couple of the tokens. So if you're curious about that, go to Roll20. I'm just going to post it into the chat what it is, because I don't remember the exact link, which I did wrong, and figure out, take a look at all that stuff. So guys, tell us how you originally got inspired to begin creating things on the marketplace, and how you go about deciding what you're going to create next. And let's start with Kristen.
When it came to the help videos and the few marketplace art packages that I supplied, that was part of the old mentor token packet program, and that it all really happened very serendipitously. It was more along the lines of, "Oh, you're one of our moderators, and you can do stuff. Can we get you to do stuff?" And and that's pretty much how it all happened. Regarding my work process, I'm pretty notorious for just winging most things. I pick a target and then I just do a lot of flailing until it's done, looking up tutorials or tips and tricks when I get stuck, and proceed to bang my head against a wall until I'm finished. At least that's how I feel like that's how it goes most days. For me, that what the target has to feel fun to make, or I just won't stick with it. My attention will wander. Deadlines help, though.
Deadlines are helpful for everything. Gabriel.
Oh, I just want to make one of everything. So that's my ultimate goal. Mainly, I look for the best advice you'll get for GMing is the best advice you'll get for making art. I make maps, so I take the advice from Dungeon World, which is think dangerously. Sure, you could just have an adventure in a tunnel, but having an adventure in like a raging river on a bridge is much more fun. So that's what I look for. Is I'm doing mostly tactical maps, so I assume people want something that's tactically entertaining. Though, as I stated, I want to do one of everything, so I do pretty much any location I figure should come up in a fantasy game at some point. And my only real process is I keep a notebook full of ideas that unfortunately has a tendency to grow under its own weight.
Fair. That's actually probably a really, really good sign. Fernando.
All right, so I had heard about Roll20 like through a Kickstarter and stuff like that, but I wasn't into tabletop because I didn't have anybody to play with, which is the whole point of Roll20. And I was at a party, and a friend of mine, Drew, mentioned it to me, got me into it. I visited the marketplace. I saw a lot of Devon's tokens, and that's when I was like, oh, you know what? I can probably do something like this on a style that is different enough from his that people could be interested. Because that's one thing that I love about the marketplace is that we don't really see each other as competitors. It's more like, okay, we have different styles. We actually help each other out a lot. So yeah, I mean, I was already drawing a ton of fantasy anyway for fun. So I figured, let me just put it all together and put it on the marketplace, and that way other people can also play with it. And then when I contacted Roll20, Nolan at the time, because it was a while ago, Nolan was still dealing with us directly, and he was instrumental. Like, he helped me a lot, guided me through the first pack and stuff like that. And now I've been doing it for about 3.5 years.
Yeah, Nolan did a lot of great work on the marketplace. He was the primary contact before I started. And then I was just able to, because he does so much for Roll20, it was nice to have the new person, me, help be its baby mama. No, that's weird. You guys know what I'm saying. Be its dragon mother. Get out of the nest. Go.
Chase your dreams.
Yes. Anyway, moving on from that moment. Russ.
Yes.
Tell us how you get inspired.
Okay. Tell me how I get inspired. Well, my past is as an archaeologist, so a lot of mine, my old world styles were inspired by a lot of the line art maps and things that I used to look up. So that's how I was putting in those. The scene editions recently, I like plants. So I've been developing more and more trees and bushes and things like that. And I look at the other, as Fernando had mentioned, on the marketplace, we don't really see a lot of each other as competitors, but that we complement each other. And it's a lot of fun to take somebody's tokens like Devon's or Phillips or Fernando's and putting them in our maps. You know, Gabe and I do that all the time. And it's great to see how they mesh together and how we can keep growing with the styles. So
Yeah, cool. Brass Badger. Oh, you're muted. Sorry.
You muted her?
Hey, there we go.
There.
I actually got started because I play on Roll20 a lot. I have a weekly game that I've been running for a long time, and about a year ago to the day, actually, my group was like, you should really put all this on the marketplace. So I started doing that. So I largely decide what I'm going to do next based on where my campaign is going. That's pretty much, all right, I need to, make underwater tiles now. Guess I'm doing an underwater tile set.
Very, very cool. The true nerd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm influenced by my nerdiness and my current game activities. Nice. Devin.
Not to show my age, but I actually got started long before Roll20 was around. So initially, when I first started, the virtual tabletops were very limited in what you actually had available to play with. So I remember sitting around with the guys, and we were moving these little tokens around that were just numbers. And we're just like, there's got to be something better than a number to represent a character. I started playing with little graphics, and they started out really simple and basic. But once I realized that you could make a PNG file look great on a map, it just exploded. So like Gabe, I wanted to make one of everything. So there was a whole monster manual, and I'm like, we need monsters. So I tried to make about one of every single monster in the monster manual at one time. Minus the stuff that was copyrighted by Wizards and stuff. But after that, all of my work is primarily commission based. So when people contact me and look for a certain character, I make it. And when I get about 20 or so of those characters together and stuff, I put them in a pack, I sell them. So a lot of the stuff I do is just by request. When I have downtime, which doesn't happen a whole lot, I have a list of things that would love to be seen on the marketplace or make. And I pull that and I start working on it, and then I get distracted by kids, and then I have to give it up and go back to doing regular work. So that's what I do.
Nice. Sounds good.
Excellent.
I like to think that we might have some budding artists in the audience. So are there any tips? Is there like one big tip that you wish that you'd known, or maybe that you see happening that might not be so great with new artists on the marketplace? What's one tip that you would give to marketplace creators? Kristen.
So if you're on the fence and doubt your artistic abilities, give yourself a chance. Talking amongst ourselves here in the panel, the common thread with a lot of us is a near crippling sense of devaluation of our own work and abilities. That's perfectly normal feeling, and I just don't let that be a barrier. If you got an art package and that you're happy with or take pride in, give it a shot and submit it. And this is my cat. She's a pain in the butt.
Nice. That's so true. It's the number one thing that I tell everybody is that you don't realize probably how good your own work is, and that there are probably people out there who would love to see it. And if you're not sure, you can send it to team@roll20.net and I'll tell you. All right, Gabriel.
Oh, number one thing for new artists is don't give up too early. Tons of people get only like a pack or two out, and they're not making enough, so they quit, and it's fairly heartbreaking because it doesn't get good until you're quite a few sets in as far as your earnings. And we've lost many fine artists way too early. They were taken from us too young.
Before their careers had time to grow and prosper.
Yes.
Yeah. Fernando.
So yeah, similar vein, definitely what Gabe said, don't give up too early. At the beginning, you're not going to be selling a lot, you're not making a lot of money, and that's fine, you stick with it. So my advice would be, the way I do my tokens is I draw and I make what I would buy myself. I play with a lot of friends, and much like Jamie, I end up doing tokens for them and stuff like that. And then I realized, okay, like it'd be cool if there was this pack or that pack on the marketplace. But ultimately, I always draw what I want to be drawing. So it's something that in my spare time is tokens. That's why I don't have that many packs. it's true. Once you have more and more packs, you start seeing a little bit more of revenue stream. You start getting more money. But at the beginning, you don't, and that's okay. You stick with it, and it definitely pays off. That's why I always advise do what you will be doing anyway, so that way you don't feel like you're wasting your time. Like a lot of people ask me to do sci-fi, and I'm a huge fantasy nerd, and I can draw sci-fi just fine, but it's not as fun for me as drawing fantasy. So when it comes to tokens, I just stick with fantasy because I figure if this pack doesn't sell well, it doesn't matter. I still have fun creating it.
Russ.
Consistency, and push yourself for that consistency. As Kristen had mentioned, trust in your own abilities. Fernando had mentioned draw what you enjoy or what you would purchase, and I would say consistency. Gabe had mentioned more than one pack. Just keep, if you're focused on one thing, and that focus remains throughout your packs as a central theme, you'll definitely see your revenue stream grow. You'll see a lot more people actually coming up with more ideas and requests from your fan base, and they'll actually help guide you too. They'll start steering you where they would like to see your work continue, and they'll let you know real quick where your work should not.
Absolutely, that makes a lot of sense. Brass Badger.
So what I would recommend is playing with like your work, and in the sense of like when you get it made and you think it's good, actually stick it in a Roll20 game and see if it works, and have an intention for how you think it should work. And then if it doesn't work that way, re-examine it, maybe rework it, maybe set up the tiles in a different way, or if the tokens don't read when they're super small, maybe you need to rework your silhouette. Play with them, use them the way they should be used, because if people like using your packs, they'll get more of them and they'll want more of them. It's the best I got.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. And Devin.
Sure, make me go last. You guys, I would say create something unique. If there's already 3 or 4 packs of whatever you're going to create already on the marketplace, unless your style is so unique that it doesn't matter. I mean, and there's some wonderful, unique stuff in there that, I've done orcs and goblins like 3 or 4 times, and I'm going to do it again. But if you want to do orcs and goblins, as long as your stuff's unique, go for it. But if your stuff's going to be similar to what's already there, probably not a whole lot of point in doing that if it's already on the marketplace. But there are a ton of awesome, unique stuff that makes it worthwhile. It's awesome to look at.
I'm sorry, if I can.
Yeah.
What he said it's actually great, because Devin already had a ton of tokens that were similar to the ones that I made, but I still went and did goblins anyway. I still went and did orcs anyway, because our styles are so different that like mine is like way more cartoony. So I figured, you know what, it's fine. There's room for both. So if you guys, somebody sees there's already a lot of goblins, a lot of orcs. I mean, we play a lot of fantasy stuff. It's very popular. And that's what you want to draw, go for it. If your style is different enough from mine, his, and all the other creators, create what you love anyway.
Yeah, very, very good point.
And actually, can I add on to that? And on the reverse on that, Fernando, just if your style is similar to somebody, buddy up with them. See about creating something that'll expand, because it helps your customer base. Your customers will love you having 1, 2, 3, 5 artists that works together. I mean, they'll view it as a wonderful asset for their own game.
And I want to add one thing onto that too. If you're going to design something that, like a dungeon pack, pretty much everybody kind of has one of those. If your first entrance into the marketplace is a dungeon tile set, that's a pretty saturated market. The reason I have one is because I wanted to do other things, and I use that as a base to build everything on top of. So if you're going to do something that has been done before, either accept that that's a base and it might not be the world's most popular right away, or have a plan for what makes it special and unique and sets it apart.
Yeah, I feel like that's a really good point. It might be worthwhile creating something even though you're not going to sell that much of it, because exactly, newer creators, I think, have to deal with the fact that they have 1 or 2 packs for a while they figure out a schedule and how to keep creating and releasing content regularly. And yeah, that's a good idea, that if you get a couple of dungeon packs, that's what a lot of people know how to make. And you can show, hey, I know my stuff. And then you can worry about making more creative, things that don't exist anywhere on the marketplace. So that's a really good point.
Exactly.
Moving on slightly, let's talk a little bit about promotion. This is a thing that I know is really, really hard for people. If you're an artist, it's always good to promote your own artwork, but it can be very hard to get into that machine, into that mindset. So let's talk a little bit about how you promote yourself, especially social media, like I wrote down in my notes, social media, friend or foe. And do you utilize Twitter, Reddit, anything to make sort of a platform and tell people about your stuff? And if so, how has it worked for you? So yeah, let's start with Kristen.
Well, I am actually really terrible at social networking, so I was probably like the best person to start this conversation.
You are the best person, because it is difficult. I mean, it's so hard to put yourself in that mindset and be like, oh, I should be tweeting all the time.
Also, since for me, my personal art, it's just 2 packages, and a lot of it was for Roll20. So like when I do a lot of contract work for modules, it's normally Roll20 like shipping out like the welcome wagon so that they can get people to buy modules. And then there's the video series, which is, you throw that everywhere, and you have your YouTube channel, and it's I think it's just because of what I do is slightly different right now than what like straight up marketplace artists are. The networking is like amazing. Just networking with other artists. It's both intimidating, but also very supportive at the same time. Not only does it give you a wealth of valuable critique and advice, but it helps keep you invested. Motivation in art is really damn difficult if you work in a vacuum, and it's really easy to find yourself in one when you work remotely. So networking with a group of artists, especially if you're all working towards the same thing, like in our instance where it's the Roll20 marketplace, it's a great group to be working with.
Yeah, these are, having spoken with these people quite a lot in the recent months, these are some pretty cool people. Crazy, but wonderful. Gabriel.
Here's your dollar, Suzanne.
I'm really horrible at advertising. I don't even have a single brand name or anything intelligent like that set up for any of my products. I have no idea what I'm doing, but it works. So the most value I get out of social media, which I try to do it all, and my only goal is that people should be vaguely aware my stuff exists when it comes out, is it's the #1 source of feedback I get. And if you're not getting feedback from the people who are using your stuff, it's horrible, because you have no idea if it's actually useful, made in such a way that anyone finds value in it and whatnot. It's put me in contact. People have invited me into their games so I could see how they were using my art, because they will use it in ways I did not intend. I had an idea of how it would be put to use, and then you see it and say, I didn't think anyone would do that with it. So then I can go back, and when I start putting out more stuff, I say, well, now I have some idea. It's been very, very good for that. I try to keep my social media as fun as possible, because I'm not very good at the whole capitalism thing all the time. So I try to just make it silly and keep people amused briefly enough to look at my stuff and tell me whether they think it sucks or what else they would like. So the social media has been great for that. My 2 biggest winners, Twitter, people will respond there. post a picture. If the picture moves, that's even better.
Mhm.
Like the movies. And G+. Those are the places that give me a response. Facebook has done nothing for me, but I'm pretty sure my family that follows me there is really happy to see my work.
This is what Gabriel's been working on. My nephew.
I'm not sure a lot of them are deeply into it. They're a little more into camouflage and duck calls, but that's okay.
That's where the beard comes from. It makes sense now.
The mystery of the beard. Yes.
Solved.
Awesome. Thank you. Fernando, how is social media your friend or foe?
Oh, yeah. Going back to the previous question for just 1 second, one more thing that I thought about getting started in the marketplace is reach out to us too. Like I know we're all very available. You have our Twitter handle, I think, is on the stream. But if you want to send us an IM through Roll20, just send me a message on Twitter. I have a Facebook page, DeviantArt, ArtStation, whatever your preferred method is. Reach out to us. Everybody here is super open, and we'll try to help you out because we love this stuff. It's at the end of the day, we're really into it. That kind of segues into social media, which is I think it's both a friend and a foe because I haven't cracked that code yet. I really don't know how to use it to like promote my stuff. My packs come out like months apart too. I'm not releasing packs all the time, so it's the way I try to just keep it interesting is I post a lot of just personal drawings or all the things that I'm working on, some of the concept art that I've done for other people, and I figured that would attract not just the Roll20 crowd, but also people that are just interested in art in general, especially fantasy art. So I'm always posting sketches. Sometimes I'll post. If I'm working on a particular pack, like right now I'm working on some dwarves, I'll post a little GIF of like, this is how I'm working on the dwarves, and this is how I do the arm and the armor, and then kind of like a progression thing. So it's a little bit of a tutorial, a little bit of a preview. One great thing about social media, and I include the Roll20 forum in this, is getting feedback from your audience, communicating with your audience. Communicating with the creators, we've been talking a lot, especially leading up to the con, but probably later on we're gonna keep talking a lot, like Ross, Gabe, Jamie, Kristen. We're all been talking a lot, and yeah, just like reach out to us. That's really what I use it for. It's more to like stay engaged with people, not so much to like promote my stuff.
Good stuff. Yeah. I mean, that's something that hasn't quite been touched on yet, that social media can be a great platform to figure out what your audience, like talk directly to your audience. Because as much as I think it's a great idea to encourage people to reach out to you directly, people are weird about, they're very hesitant to reach out. They think, oh, I'm bothering this person. And honestly, sometimes they might be. I mean, we do want to talk to our audiences all the time, absolutely. But if everybody did it all the time, that would be a lot.
Well, the beauty of it is like you don't have to respond right away, right? Like in the
right.
forums, when people IM me, sometimes it takes me a day to respond or something like that, but I will always respond to you. And I'm actually pretty extroverted for a nerd. So if people want to like IM me and just talk to me about like a movie or whatever, that's fine too. Like honestly, it's just I like engaging with the people that are buying my tokens and stuff like that because I mostly, 90% of it is I do it because I love it and because I get a real kick of knowing that people are using my drawings and stuff like that to play in their games, and that connects me to like-minded people. So that's something that I'm very interested in. So if you want to talk to me about something else, art in general, not necessarily tokens in the marketplace, that's fine too. If you want to talk about getting started in the marketplace, I'd be more than happy to help you with it. I've been doing it for 3.5 years, so I still don't know what I'm doing, but I'm good at pretending I do.
And that's all back to the inferiority complex that we all have, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, and also nerd is just a passionate person, right? So most nerds are actually super introverted. That whole thing is a lie. And yeah. So anyway, Russ, tell us how you use or don't use social media.
It kind of goes back to meeting with the other artists and everything. One thing is, as the guys have everybody's already expressed, get out there, meet each other, send that initial note, hi, my name is, because it's really easy after that. And the one thing that social media also, once you've developed a group of great, other artists to be around, is that there's Facebook and Reddit and Twitter and, G+. There's so many social medias out there. You can't be everywhere. Not everything's going to work for you. But the nice thing is the other artists are out there. And I've noticed with this group especially, a lot of us, whether it's in the forums on, the Roll20 site, on G+, or wherever, we'll actually go in because we know the answers. We talk to each other via either text or, this. We're talking to each other and we're exploring each other's minds. We're not worried about, are they going to take my idea? But, it's like, here's an idea. What do you think? Now let's all make it. So, it's great because the other artists a lot of times can answer each other's questions and they can help, and it helps promote a much tighter community, especially for the marketplace.
Mm-hmm.
And within the community of Roll20 itself. I mean, it's just, for me, the social media is actually pretty much a friend. I mean, there's feedback and everything, but as far as it's more of being able to develop that rapport with the other artists that will help further along, hopefully, so people understand each other's work.
Nice. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Brass Badger.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't really like the promotion stuff. I feel icky doing it, so I have a really hard time. I try to do promotional posts just as like, hey, letting you know there's a new pack up when one is. But the best way I like to use it is that same interaction that everyone else has been talking about. Feedback from people who actually use my sets and being able to see how my sets are used, really, really invaluable. So I love it when people, say, hey, I used your set this way. This piece is, it felt like it was missing. Maybe add that next time. Yeah, I can really easily. I didn't think, like Gabe said, I did not think you would use it that way. That's an interesting idea. I'm always happy to add stuff. I'm doing a couple custom sets for people that right now that, sent me a message on the Roll20 forums or sent me a tweet that said, hey, I need this piece for my game. I'm using your other set. I think this would work perfect. It's, that's the best thing about this community is that it's a community, so we can interact.
Yeah. Interacting is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be very icky. That is a good word for it. Something that you can become comfortable with, and the hope is that it pays off. But yeah, it can be really hard. Devin.
Yeah. I'm going to go the opposite direction. I don't like anybody else that's in the creating group, especially Fernando, whose tokens are a little bit nicer looking than mine. But oddly enough, and as bad as it sounds, like I'm not competitive, but I don't like other people making work like mine until I meet them. So I hated Fernando until I started talking to him, and I realized he's a good guy. He's got his own life. He's got reasons for doing this. And now I like him. And so now it's weird, but I actually met Russ at Gen Con last year, I think. And before that, I hated Russ. But then I met him, and he's a super great guy. And so now I gotta like Russ, and I gotta like the people Russ like, which is Gabe and Kristen and everybody. And so it is weird. Like before, and I've just started talking to these guys not too long ago. It's really supportive. It's weird that everyone's just super cool to talk to each other. And like Brass Badger was like, hey, let's do something together. Jamie was like, hey, let's do something together. And I'll never do it because I don't like him that much, but it's a great idea, and actually I would love to work with any of these guys. And me and Gabe have temporarily started working together on the project, and then it kind of fell through. But it's hard working with artists. Artists always have their own ideas. And since we're visual, like you can work with a bunch of people on other non-art related things, and it's kind of easier because you're just like one person leads and everybody falls in line, or you have ideas and you hash them out. With artists, you start something and then you visualize something just slightly different, and sometimes you clash that way. But if you can work together and collaborate, it's awesome. And that has nothing to do with social media because I suck at social media, so I wasn't going to talk about it.
Yes, I noticed that.
Well
done. Well, please.
Yeah, I use G Plus, and I get like maybe 6 likes on my post, so there's not a whole lot of going on there. I just learned to tweet, so I have like 12 followers.
Congratulations.
Half of them are- Thank you.
Wait,
Yeah.
13 followers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're
Woohoo!
Yeah,
displayed,
I'm
so
moving up there.
everyone can find you now.
I probably
no
have
one
an
stalked
advantage
Evan.
of being like around longer, so I have a lot of people that just know about me. But like everybody else, I hate to promote myself, but I find that when I do, there's always positive feedback, especially from other artists, which is amazing. So that's probably the best feedback you can get.
Yeah, definitely. Funny. All right. That was a lot of talk about social media, which is just like the beast that we all deal with. And I mean, going back to your point for a second, Devin, about artists, like as a person who's made their career working with artists, but not being an artist myself, definitely there's a certain mindset that you start to realize most artists have, which is like, I've made this thing. It's really important to me. And sometimes that can end up with like feathers being ruffled one way or the other because it's really hard to change your baby. So, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. If you just imagine that artists have a ton of babies, and of course they're going to be, yeah, maybe not, but of course they're going to be somewhat protective of their work. I mean, it's their livelihood. So it's always kind of interesting for me in a sort of bird watching kind of way to watch how artists interact, because there's natural competitiveness that comes into it, but also collaboration can lead to some really fantastic things.
It's really interesting when you bring it up, because sometimes we tend to get in our own way, especially when it comes to feedback. When it comes to art and you're out and talking things like that, it's very personal. You put a lot of love into it, a lot of time into it, a lot of passion into it. So it's hard sometimes to get that feedback, even if it's constructive criticism. It's hard not to take it personal. So as an artist, if you're a starting artist, you really have to try to get over that and understand that when people give you feedback, that's helping you grow as an artist and get better. Don't take it as an attack. I think every single person on the stream and anybody that works at like Blizzard or BioWare or whatever your favorite concept artist or artist studio is, they can tell you 100 things that are wrong with every single painting and drawing they've ever done. Even though most of us think that everybody else's stuff is amazing and better than we'll ever do. Mm-hmm. So we all have that. When you get feedback, try not to take it personal. It's just feedback. It's just constructive criticism. If you take it personal, take a minute, take a deep breath, and then understand that it's in order to make it better. And that's really how you're going to get better as an artist. And we're always growing. We're always learning. We're always trying different styles. Till the day I die, I'm never going to feel like I'm a fully fledged, complete artist. Just because people want my stuff to talk. But that's part of the process. That's part of what being an artist is.
Yeah, exactly. Like as much as possible, take that criticism and try to internalize it without rejecting it. But it's very hard. Yeah. Sorry, Russ.
No, I just want to add in there. It's interesting because on Roll20, there's been several artists that have contacted some of us, and they've literally said, I like what I do, but I'm not getting the great feedback. Help. And so it's great because of the being asked for tips or techniques. It's like we don't want to change styles. You got a great style. Now here's a trick. Gabriel's great with he's been teaching about certain things with Photoshop filters and such, and and shading. You got Devin, who is great with. Well, thank you, Devin, for the artifact tip. And everybody's got little things that we've done over the years, and it's nice to see a lot of the new artists coming through, and they're sending PMs or emails and saying, look, how do I make this not suck? And we're like, well, it's great already, but here, if you're looking to improve, and they're asking for the constructive crits, and that's a wonderful feeling, that they're doing this, they want to grow.
Absolutely. You made me think of a point, but then I forgot it. But yes, well done.
I do want to add something on the feedback point.
Yeah.
If we're not averse to feedback from people, we actually do really like getting it, even if it's not, this is awesome. Sometimes if it's a negative feedback, it's still useful. And we still like hearing from people. Hearing anything is infinitely better than hearing nothing. And
Definitely.
yeah, feedback's useful. We're not going to bite your head off. We're not too busy to talk to you. We're people. We're nerds. We're playing our own games on Roll20 too. So, just send us a message. Hey, I liked this about your pack. Hey, maybe next time add this into your pack. Hey, have you considered doing this kind of a pack? Probably. I have a list of 186 packs I want to get out sometime before I die. Maybe I'll catch up to Gabe. But, sometimes the order...
That's life.
Yeah, there's no order I know to do them other than what people ask for and what I need. So
Bring me your champions.
Yeah, and actually something that didn't quite get touched on is the fact that as much as possible to use the Roll20 forums, because and you see people doing this all the time. If you pop on to the general on topic stuff, you see people saying, hey, I just released this pack. Sometimes, what I love to see is when new creators are going on saying, look, guys, this is my first pack, and they directly ask for feedback. If you're getting started, that is a really good way to talk directly to your audience. They're there, we hope. And just ask and ask and ask for feedback from both other creators and the audience. And then you do have to listen to that feedback and internalize it. And, that goes into that whole thing about that being really difficult. But yeah, good stuff. So moving on slightly, but keeping in this trend of collaboration, how do you guys ever, and this was actually mentioned briefly in the chat, but to target the question a little bit more, have you ever worked with other creators on creating a module? Have you done any other collaborations? And how much did you love or hate that experience? And let's start with Kristen.
Okay, I've probably spent the most amount of time working with publishers to get modules ported over to the marketplace. In many cases, a publisher really doesn't have someone who knows the platform to transfer the work over, so that's where I come in. It's not difficult work, but it is time-consuming because you're essentially creating a Roll20 campaign that expands an entire adventure, where I suspect a lot of GMs just build what they expect to put together for the next session or two. You're doing it all. As you can imagine, it's a lot of handouts, a lot of character journal entries, and a lot of graphics. We do have modules on the marketplace that were built by community members, and this is the area that would most be of interest for fellow content creators. The Sword of Morn and Heroes of Belfum come to mind as community members designing their own content and then selling it. You need to do a little research first to see if you can legally sell a campaign of a given system.
Yes, do that research.
For instance, for Pathfinder, you need to contact them, fill out a form, and basically get third-party publisher status to be able to put compatible with the Pathfinder RPG label on your module. It's not hard, but it is something you need to address before you move forward. It's got to be legit. Module creation also does require a good deal of teamwork and dedication to get one off the ground, but you don't need too many chefs. In the end, you need someone who knows how to. In the end, you need someone who knows how to put Roll20 campaigns together, an artist or artists that create all your graphic content. That means your tokens, overworld map, and battle maps. Someone with authoring skill to put together a comprehensive PDF so GMs can follow along to play your module. And what I mentioned before about system research to make sure you're legally in the clear. That, and you'll want to do a lot of testing too before you submit your work. So you're not, selling a really broken POS.
Yeah. Totally. Also, we are getting a little bit close on time, I just noticed. So as you guys are answering this question, also tell us quickly where people can find you if you want them to find you. Let's move on to Gabriel.
Oh, collaborations are usually a lot of fun and usually never amount to anything. At least in my experience, I get contacted by a lot of people. We start work. Turns out that it's a lot of work, and then people kind of slowly disappear and wander away. But I have a lot of fun in the process. So And in my case, I usually take the artwork from doing that and eventually make it into something that I can use later. So I have a ton of fun with that. It's definitely fun working with other people. I like commission work for the same reason, whereas I'm usually using only my own imagination, which is a lot of fun and probably the most fun, but it gets a bit tedious to only have your own ideas to play with sometimes, and it's really fun to actually bring some other people's ideas to light. For me, it's kind of a break from what I normally do, so I love breaking anything up into, different things. I like doing it with art style too, so collaborations are the same thing. Use someone else's brain for a little bit, even though apparently some people believe there can be too many chefs. I don't feel that way at all.
Never too many cooks.
You can reach me. I don't know. I have lots of things, but I don't remember what they're called because I never keep a consistent name. So good luck.
Let's just remind people exactly what your marketplace name is. So for you, it's Gabriel Picard.
Only it's Pickard.
It's Pickard.
We moved to American. We mispronounce it.
I'm sorry.
Very special.
Gabriel Pickard. You can find him on the marketplace. Let's move on to Fernando.
All right. So I worked on a module once with a friend. It didn't go anywhere. We were doing it for Dungeon World. We found that working with Dungeon World was awesome. Adam is super cool. You can kind of reach out to him, and he was very welcoming. So in a way, I feel I let him down because we didn't finish our module. I think the most important thing, I personally love working with other artists. We did the Cybersmile pack between all of us, and it was a really, really fun experience. It was really nice sending each other's work and giving each other feedback and stuff like that, at this, at that, and it was really, really cool. The problem is that artists are generally not super reliable. I include myself in that. So you end up losing interest, moving on to something else. So I think that naturally the chef is going to tell you that you can never have too many cooks in the kitchen. But I would say that you need at least one head chef. I think that it would be super helpful when you're working in a pack if one person, even if that's their entire job, is just coordinating, making sure that the artist is delivering, making sure that the writer is delivering, making sure everybody, maybe set yourself deadlines. They don't have to be hard deadlines, but if somebody's slacking, maybe be nice about it, but get on them a little bit and be like, hey, this guy already created some tokens. You need to write this module. This guy already wrote this stuff. You need to finish those portraits. It's always very helpful if somebody's putting it all together. That's the reason art directors still exist, and it's because we as artists, our minds all over the place. We have like a spaghetti brain, so it's very easy to get distracted by the next shiny thing and drop what you're working on if you don't have somebody constantly driving you to do it. Nice. As for contacting me, I'm at ftix21 on Twitter, and what I'll do is right now in the chat, I'll just paste links to the rest of where you can see my stuff and contact me at.
Sweet. And just to keep things moving along, because we are a little bit short on time, Russ, tell us about your collaboration thing and how people can find you on the marketplace.
Okay, first to find me on the marketplace, basically Russ Hapke. Nice and simple. Same thing on Twitter, same thing on Facebook, I make it very simple. If you can make it past those 5 little letters in my last name, you got it. As far as collaborating, actually it's been a fun process. I'm going to take the example of working on the stuff for the Cybersmile. We were talking about the bully campaign and such. The amount that it hopscotched so quickly, first coming with, Fernando and the gang coming up with the ideas of the Minotaurs, and then coming up with the ideas, and I said, you know what, my bullies are different. So Fernando asked, hey, why don't you make yours? My bullies were goblins. From there, it just kept hopscotching, and now we've got a set from Devon where we've got goblins with rabid gerbils on sticks. My God, how can you not love this? So, collaboration on modules, at least on map sets and such, if you're an artist, yeah, go for it. If you can't write, then just do a set, do a map set, do an inventory set, something that's just on the art side so that you're not bogged down and you don't feel like this is going to sit in limbo forever. And
nice. Yeah, totally. Yeah. And Brass Badger, tell us about where people can find you and if you've loved a collaboration.
I haven't gotten to do many collaborations with the Roll20 artists. I work on a team at my day job, so I do a lot of collaborating art-wise normally, but I'd like to get a collaboration going with Russ and possibly Devin and anybody else that wants to. Those are just the people I've talked to about it. And Cybersmile was a ton of fun. I was really glad to collaborate on that pack. You can find me at brassbadgerworkshop.com is my like central hub for all my stuff. I'm Brass Badger Workshop on the Roll20 Marketplace and tweet at Brass Badger. That's the quickest way to get in contact with me. I'll respond to that very quickly.
Yay, Twitter.
Yay! Yeah. Holla.
Yeah. Devin, tell us, you've already talked a little bit about collaboration, but was there anyone that you really loved? And also, how can people find you on the marketplace as if they don't know?
I think the best collaboration is going to be the one that's upcoming. We haven't even talked about it yet, but it's going to be good.
Ooh.
Yeah. I'm Devin Knight everywhere. So, if you run across Devin Knight, it's most likely me. I think there's one other guy who does like Vampire the Masquerade that runs around as Devin Knight. But other than that, I'm the guy, Devin Knight, everywhere.
Awesome. Okay, great. Just a final reminder that these guys have all contributed to the Roll20CON exclusive art pack, which you can get for free if you donate at all to Cybersmile. If you, I'm going to paste the how to do that in chat. You can follow that link, go to roll20.net/con/donation, donate to Cybersmile. You will get the pack free, just complimentary as a part of your donation. We really, really appreciate it. We're loving raising money for Cybersmile, and we were really glad that we could get all these super cool people to give you some free, amazing artwork. So guys, that has been our panel. Final round of applause. Yay. Yeah. Thanks everybody for joining us for this panel. And up next, we are going to have a very exciting another panel called Publishing in the Digital Age. So stay tuned, and we will be going live with that at 9 a.m. Pacific. So until then, happy gaming for Roll20CON.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.